Have you ever noticed that two people can experience the exact same event, but react in completely different ways? One might feel angry, while the other feels totally unbothered. According to cognitive behavioral therapy, or CBT, the difference isn't in the event itself, but in how we interpret it. Welcome. Today we're breaking down CBT, one of the most widely researched and effective forms of psychotherapy. Whether you're dealing with anxiety, depression, or just want to understand your own mind better, CBT offers a structured, goal-oriented roadmap to help. It's an evidence-based approach that empowers you with real tools for change. At the heart of CBT is a concept often called the cognitive triangle. This model suggests that our thoughts, emotions, and behaviors are all interconnected. Think of it like this. A change in one corner of the triangle automatically affects the other two. Here is the core principle. It is often our perception of an event, not the event itself, that dictates how we feel and what we do. For example, imagine you wave at a friend, and they don't wave back. If your immediate thought is, "They're ignoring me because they don't like me," you'll probably feel sad and maybe even avoid them later. But what if you thought, "They probably didn't see me, they look really busy"? You'd likely feel neutral and just send them a text later. Same event, different thought, completely different emotional and behavioral outcome. By changing the thought, we change the entire experience. CBT breaks our thinking down into 3 levels, like an iceberg. At the very tip, above the water, are our automatic thoughts. These are the quick surface-level reactions that pop into our heads all day long. Like, "I'm going to fail this test," or "that was a dumb thing to say." They're reflexive, and we often accept them as facts without question. Just below the surface are our intermediate beliefs. These are the rules, attitudes, and assumptions we live by. They often take the form of if-then statements like, "If I don't get this promotion, then I am a failure." Or, "I must always be perfect to be loved." These rules guide how we react to situations and interpret the world. And at the very bottom, deep beneath the water, are our core beliefs. These are the deep, rigid, and fundamental ideas we hold about ourselves, other people, and the world. Beliefs like, "I am unlovable," "I am incompetent," or "the world is a dangerous place." These core beliefs generate our intermediate beliefs and automatic thoughts. CBT helps us dive deep to identify and challenge these beliefs at every level. So how does CBT actually fix these unhelpful patterns? It uses specific, actionable techniques. Let's look at 3 of the most common ones. First up is cognitive restructuring. This is all about becoming a detective of your own thoughts. It starts by identifying what we call cognitive distortions. These are common mental traps or thinking errors that our brains fall into. You might recognize some of these, like catastrophizing, where you always expect the worst-case scenario, or all-or-nothing thinking, where you see things in black and white terms as either a total success or a complete failure. Once you spot a distortion, you work to challenge it. You ask questions like, "What's the evidence for this thought? Is there another way to look at this situation? What's a more balanced perspective?" This isn't just about positive thinking. It's about shifting to more realistic and helpful thinking. Next is a technique called behavioral activation. This is a powerful tool, especially for depression. When we feel down, we tend to stop doing the things we enjoy or that give us a sense of accomplishment. This withdrawal makes us feel even worse, creating a vicious cycle. Behavioral activation breaks that cycle. The idea is to schedule enjoyable or meaningful activities into your week, even if you don't feel like doing them. It operates on the principle that action often comes before motivation. By getting up and doing something, you start to generate positive feelings and energy, which then fuels more action. Our third key technique is exposure therapy. This is the gold standard for treating anxiety disorders and phobias. When we're afraid of something, our natural instinct is to avoid it. But avoidance only makes the fear stronger over time. Exposure therapy involves gradually and safely facing feared situations in small, manageable steps. For example, if someone has a fear of public speaking, they might start by just practicing their speech in front of a mirror, then a friend, then a small group. By facing the fear, you teach your brain that the feared outcome is unlikely and that you can handle the anxiety. So what does a CBT session actually look like? Unlike some therapies that focus heavily on your past, CBT is very much focused on the here and now, solving current problems. A typical session lasts about 45 to 60 minutes and is highly structured. You'll usually start with a check-in, reviewing your mood and what's happened during the week. Then, you and your therapist will collaboratively set an agenda, deciding what specific problems to work on that day. A big part of the session is reviewing your homework from the previous week. Yes, there's homework. You'll then spend the bulk of the session applying CBT techniques to the issues on your agenda. Before you leave, you'll create a new action plan, new homework for the coming week. This might involve tracking your thoughts, practicing a new behavior, or facing a small fear. The homework is crucial because CBT is all about building skills you can use in your daily life. Practice is what makes these skills stick. CBT is incredibly powerful, but is it the right fit for everyone? Let's look at the pros and cons. The pros are huge. It's evidence-based, meaning countless studies support its effectiveness. It's often time-limited, typically lasting between 8 to 20 sessions, so it's not an endless commitment. And most importantly, it teaches you practical skills that you can use for the rest of your life. On the other hand, the cons are that it requires active effort. You have to be willing to do the homework and actively participate. It can also be emotionally challenging because it requires you to confront difficult thoughts and behaviors head-on, rather than avoiding them. But this challenge is what leads to real, lasting change. Research consistently shows that for many conditions like anxiety and depression, CBT can be as effective as medication, and combining the two is often the most effective approach of all. Ultimately, the goal of CBT is to help you become your own therapist. It gives you the tools to understand and change the patterns that hold you back. By learning to change the way you think and act, you can fundamentally change the way you feel. Thanks so much for watching.